Wow. Please welcome to the stage multiple award-winning, Oscar-nominated Jared Leto and Matthew McConaughey. Make yourself comfortable, please. I mean, we got to start by saying congratulations, on this incredible film, on these performances, and quite rightly so, the recognition that you guys have received for this film so far. So much commitment. It seems there was so much commitment to this film and these characters from you both. Would you say it's maybe the most commitment you've given to a role or a film, and it was required, I imagine, as well?
I'd say, yeah, there was more that to clearly commit to with this role, mind, body, and soul-wise. I mean, you know, from the losing weight, that was not an eccentric idea. That was something that was needed to do to be responsible to the character, to who this guy was. I surrounded myself with researching this guy, Ron Woodruff, and his story for 6 months, 5 hours a day, and I never had a complacent moment. I mean, if we wouldn't have made the film for another year, could have still filled that year with figuring out how to get inside this guy. So, yeah.
What was it about Ron that made you, that hooked you in, that got you, that made you want to, interpret him?
The anarchic way with which he went about surviving. It was never a sentimental tale. It was never it wasn't the typical way to take on this subject matter. I mean, this guy was basically a dealer. He's a black market drug dealer, but he happened to be dealing drugs and vitamins that were unapproved that were helping keep people alive. So there was a real pirate who was leading us through this very heartfelt story, and I found that very original.
Jared, Rayon is she's a fictional character within this world that is based on real events. Does that make it easier for you to create her, or would it have been easier if she was real, if she had been real? I mean, she is real in a lot of ways, but.
And I think they're both interesting things to do. Play a person who actually existed and also dream someone to life. I felt pretty lucky in this film to be able to create Rayon and not have some of the limitations that can come along. When you play a real person, you can become obsessed with some of the nuances, some of the details.
Did you have any idea, whilst you were making this, in 25 days it took to make this film? That's incredible, that it was going to have this reaction, that it was going to, touch people, affect people, make people pay attention the way that it has. Was there an indication that was going to happen?
And look, I remember when I first read the script, this kind of role, this kind of story doesn't come along that often. And if they do, nobody wants to make them, which was our case as well. Nobody wanted to make this, or people tried to get it made for 20 years unsuccessfully. 137 times it was rejected.
Wow.
But I remember it was clear when I read it, boy, this has potential to be something of import and entertainment. And then when we were making it, I definitely felt like we were cutting our teeth on the truth. Now, that's still no guarantee that we're going to put together a good film, especially making it that fast in 25 days. But then after I saw the first cut that Jean-Marc sent out, I was pretty excited about what we had.
In terms of you guys, the on-screen chemistry that's there, and the journey that your relationship takes throughout the film as well. Jared, Rayon was there for the whole 25 days. You were Rayon for those 25 days. Is that right?
That's right.
There was no Jared in those 25 days at all.
Well, I mean, there was always, you can't be who you're not, I suppose. But it was an immersive experience. It was a transformative role. I did basically what I had to do in order to deliver the best performance possible. So I just stayed as focused as I could be, as committed as I could be. And I wanted to contribute in a really meaningful way. And Matthew had made an incredible commitment for this film, so I was happy to do my best to try to meet him halfway, and participate and be part of the team. So that's what I did. Teamwork, my friends, teamwork.
And what is that
you
like
understand?
For you, Matthew? He's in character the whole time. I imagine you can't discuss scenes between takes, that kind of thing, or what's that experience?
Not really, but as eccentric as it may sound, it's not. Everything he just said, it was about what he had to do to focus to play his role, play his part. He was fully committed. That makes it very simple to to work with. I mean, quite literally, there's one less person in the room. And I was meeting Rayon every single day. I met Jared when we were done filming. I went up and said, hey, Matthew, shook his hand. He said, I'm Jared. His voice dropped down 2 octaves, and that was it. But let me say this. Neither one of us were interested, nor did we have time to discuss what the hell we did last weekend or what we had for dinner or who's, any kind of sports, music, anything else. It was just one, there wasn't time
what we didn't
to.
have for dinner.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah, what did you not eat last night? Again. We didn't have time, nor were we interested.
Yeah.
So that actually makes it very simple. Now, look, there are actors who can take a tact like Jared chose to, and they can bring many other things that sort of get in the way of the filmmaking process. That's not what Jared did. He made it very, very simple. Nothing he did got in the way. It actually helped create the scene. So it was very simple.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about Jennifer Garner? Because within the film, you both have a relationship.
Has anyone seen the film here? How did you see
Kind
the
of.
movie?
Yeah.
You sneaky
We
bastards.
don't need to know that right now.
Yes, yes, yes. Going to hell.
What did she bring to the film for you?
Yeah. Jennifer Garner has a very tough role in this because she has to walk the tightrope. She's the sober one, so to speak, between myself, Ron, and his Rayon. And she has that tough role to where she's a nurse. She's brought up in the establishment, and here comes this epidemic that nobody knew how to treat. And here's this guy, Ron Woodruff, coming up with his own research that seems to be working, but nobody wants to listen to. She brought, with Jennifer, she gives a damn. She cares. And there's a sincerity that she brings, and almost a search for the common sense of the scenario that she brings, especially well, that made her right for this part. It really needed a certain simple humanity that she's able to bring.
Well, we're going to see a clip right now. This is when she kind of discovers what's going on secretly with you guys. That kind of leads me on to another question, which is another thing that I think is brilliant about the film, and is the humour.
Yeah.
Which you wouldn't instantly expect there to
No.
be in a film of this subject matter.
No, it's very anarchic. As I said earlier about this guy being a pirate, the subject matter we knew had heart and was important. At the same time, that didn't mean it didn't need to be entertaining. And the humor is here. It's blasphemous. It's shocking. But Jean-Marc, the director, did a really delicate job in quite a few scenes that could have been overly heavy-handed, could have been hugely sentimental, and still been true, but he did a great job of balancing the heart in this film with this blasphemous humor that it is a wild ride. It's a highly entertaining film. Now, we knew going into it, if you read the one-liner on it, you're going to go see something that's probably good for you, something that you ought to see, something that's a bit of a history lesson you're going to get a message from, but there's no guarantee, especially with the $4.9 million independent film, that you're going to go be entertained. And I think we pulled that off. And it was there to pull off, but I think we did pull it off.
This is another great little scene. This one involves the Dallas Cowboys. How much did you stick by script? Was there much room? Was there much need for?
There was. I know I came in with 4 or 5 variations on each scene. We did do variations. Everything any improvisation I had came from the source material that Craig and Melissa wrote, and then on my own research of his transcripts and diaries and stuff, where I would bring up, this was another version, another truth on his take of his belief in God or disbelief in God, another take on his, he had 20 conspiracy theories about the FDA, and so I would try to bring a few of those, and they were all from his mouth, though.
Jared, this next clip has you in it, just to. Well,
We
it
can
has,
skip
it has
this
Raymond
one,
on
can't we?
No, we can't. Because
I mean,
I want to. Well, if you can remember this.
Why so many clips? They haven't seen the
One
film
more
yet. Why
what-
would you
just
want to
one
ruin
more.
the movie?
It's not ruining
You
it.
want to see Ray on,
Yeah,
though,
come
don't
on.
you?
We have to see one clip of the way on.
Come on.
We're not listening to you, and we're not.
Would you
gonna-
rather have 1 donut today or 6 tomorrow? No?
This is a scene with you and Jennifer. And I get that this feels like a conversation. This doesn't feel like a script. This feels like an intimate moment between two people
Yeah.
who care about each other. Was this? Did you improvise with this script? This scene that we're about to see? I mean, tell me after we watch. Well, we'll watch it. You close your eyes and your ears, and you can
Okay.
tell me after.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
This is Rayon and Eve.
Sweet dreams.
What were you humming whilst we were playing?
All along it was a fever. I was singing.
Much improvisation in that scene, or it felt like such a natural conversation.
That was the scene with me and her in the hospital?
Yeah, asking, do you like this?
No, I mean, they wrote a great script. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you I wrote the script of the scenes. There's always, I think it's very common in films for there to be spontaneous moments where you come up with something. I know in the film when I say I don't want to die, that was something that just came out. If that was scripted, it probably would have seemed too obvious. I would have obsessed on how to say such a corny, obvious thing. Of course, nobody wants to die. But it kind of burst out, and I guess it worked because it's in the film, right? People have commented.
Yeah, it's in the film.
So that was improvised. But great things can come. You guys see Wolf of Wall Street? Yes. It's a damn good movie, right? That was improvised, the thing he did.
I love the story about that.
Is that it, basically?
You got it.
I love that story.
That's incredible.
We'll move on. We'll leave that. It's
How
another-
great was he in that film? It's badass.
Why haven't you watched it?
I haven't watched it for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's never going to live up to my expectations now after all of the love and support that it's gotten. Maybe that's number three. But number one is, I see myself on film all the time. I edit myself on film all the time, whether it's in a documentary or a Mr. Bartholomew Cubbins film. So I know I'm familiar with the process, and I can get over the self-consciousness of it. But if I don't have any control or contribution during that process, I really don't want to be a part of it. There's no point. Number two, I read the script. I know what happens. I was there on the day. And I don't really need that part of the process in order to feel fulfilled. I feel rather fulfilled as it is. So, maybe one day I'll watch it.
You really should. It's pretty
I've seen a couple of the films. I saw Requiem for a Dream. It was at Cannes, and we were walking down the red carpet. I wasn't going to do it, and Darren literally grabbed my arm and dragged me into the theater. He said, "You got to watch the film." And I got caught up on it. Like you said, when you watched the film, you were able to kind of let go of your participation and get involved with the characters, and that could happen here. But I just, I don't need to do it right now. It'll be around.
Yeah.
It's available on iTunes very soon, I'm sure.
We're going to get some questions from our audience, our very large audience. We have some microphones roaming around. So,
are there any 30 Seconds to Mars family here today? Yeah. I got the feeling that there may be.
Hi, what's your name? What's your question? Do you know her?
Yeah, of course. I know all these people.
Okay. What's your question? Make it a good one.
My name's Hibbs. I have a question for Jared, basically.
Go on then.
If you had the choice to either play Ron or Rayon, would you have still played Rayon in the end?
Ooh, what an interesting question.
Yeah, my friend Emily wanted to ask you that, but she can't be here.
Well, she's obviously seeing her therapist or something, right? No, I mean, there's no one on the earth that could have played Ron except for Matthew McConaughey. I mean, obviously, he was able to deliver something I could have never have played that part. I would have failed so miserably at even attempting to play that. I wouldn't have understood that. I wouldn't have been able to fight for what was needed there. He produced the film as well. He was there fighting every single second to get the film made for years. And then creatively, I don't have what he has. He's a phenomenal actor, and I was meant to play this part, and contribute and support him in the film. Yeah, thanks.
Matthew, I read that you'd said that you were riding a new way of making a film with this. Is that right?
I was what?
You were riding a new way of making a film with this.
I remember writing down many times. I keep a journal during filming. I remember writing down, boy, is this a new way of filmmaking? And in some ways it is. The fact that we had no lights. There's more light, many more lights here than we had on the set. The fact that we shot it in 25 days, there was one camera. Many times in the scene it would be the actors, the script supervisor, the DP, and the director, and that was it. And you shoot a scene entering the building, and then you come in, look around, and walk out, and there was never a cut. They would just run around to shoot the other side. So I think the how rapid and how alive it felt. That's when I started writing on press record. Don't show up to talk about what the scene's about. Show me what it is. Don't show up to discuss what does this scene today mean. Be ready and just and do it. Perform it. Don't talk about it.
Sounds like you liked that experience.
I did like that experience a lot. It doesn't work if you're not prepared going into it, though, because there's no time to figure out, are we getting the story shot?
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of work went into pre-production. I know I was personally on the phone with Jean-Marc nightly for hours going through, okay, we've got everything lined up. If we shoot what we have here, are we going to have a full-fledged, fully realized story? And we hoped we were, because there was no time to check it out and be considerate on the day.
Did your opinion of Ron change from going into making the film to finishing it?
No. I'm happy to say I felt like I was doing my best to see Ron from the inside out about 10 days before we started shooting.
Right. Okay, more questions. Hands up. Lady in the front. Actually, can we do the gentleman at the... go then. Go there. Go. Sorry. And we'll do the gentleman at the end after that lady. Hi.
Hello. My question is, what would your dream role be if you could play anybody, either fictional character or portrayal of a real-life person? Who would you be?
Wow.
Well, last time I was on the stage, what
Yeah, because last week...
he said,
oh, man.
he said Genghis Khan, didn't he?
Yeah. Tristan Channing Tatum. When we
Tatum,
did,
the same question
chatted
came
about
up.
Magic Mike.
I was going to say Margaret Thatcher, but
That's it.
Wow.
that's been
it.
taken. Yeah.
Hey,
Not if you haven't seen it. You could do
No,
your own
I
version of it.
could do my version, a comedy,
that I would...
a musical. I should
Musical
say.
version of Margaret
The musical version of Margaret Thatcher. You know what we could do is Siegfried and Roy.
Now you're talking.
You and me,
Now
David
you're
Fincher
talking.
directing.
Yes. Nice way to plant that seed. This could become real.
Who's Siegfried and who's Roy?
We'll figure it
I'll
out.
play the tiger.
Gentleman at the end, please, got a question, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. So the gentleman at the end is
Good
just
one.
deaf, and there is
Oh,
a sign language
great.
interpreter just at the end.
Hello, yeah.
Hello.
What?
The
What
gentleman
just
at the end
happened?
is deaf, and we have a sign... lady's going to sign the question for us
Oh,
at
sign
the
the
end,
question.
yeah.
I couldn't understand.
Well, he's actually written it out. So would you like it
Amazing.
on stage?
Yeah, why not? Go on. Hi, Matthew. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that you will get the Oscar as Best Actor at the Academy Awards. We are told that the voters vote and the winner is the one with the most votes, but I cannot help thinking there is more to this than we are told. I always find it odd that the films nominated are only released a few months before the awards ceremony, and those released from March onward the year before receive little attention. Do you think it is so that the films which are reckoned to have better chances are released sooner to the date of the Oscars, so they are more present in people's minds? What do you think? Is it deliberate or a matter of chance?
There's definite deliberation to that. You know, there's an award season and films and scripts that are going to be made. People, before they make them, have release dates of like, okay, we think if they pull this off, if this film really works, it's going to be usually a drama, and we need to release that in the fall. That is our award season. That is when a studio or distributor will get behind and say, we're also going to set a campaign plan. We're going to find a way to, you know, it's a deliberate plan with how to release a film with the ideas of award season. Very seldom. It's happened a little recently that you'll get a film that comes out in the spring that lives and rears its head and reemerges in the fall, and that's planned as well. Everyone knows that if a film comes out in March and you think it's worthy of being around an award season, there's a whole distribution plan about how to reintroduce that film, not only to people but to Hollywood, to the Academy, to voters at that time, to get it and have it so it can have a presence in award season. But very seldom does a film that came out early in the year show up and really, really emerge that late. And that's partially by design.
Okay. Great question. Thank you. Okay, we have time for 2 more questions. Front row, Team Rayon, the T-shirt. She deserves a question. Go.
Excuse me, I'm shaking. I have a question for both of you. Is that all right?
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Matthew, first of all, I love Dazed and Confused. Go on, say it, please.
All right. I love Dazed Confused too.
I loved your Golden Ghost speech as well, by the way.
Thank you.
Question?
Neptune, sorry. Yeah. What do you have to say about the power and the influence the film industry has on today's society? Do you think filmmakers almost have more power than politicians?
Good question.
That's a doozy. A doozy. Would you try to make a short answer? I mean, the reciprocity of what happens between life and art and the exchange there and what influences each is pretty fascinating. I mean, I definitely think art can, well done, can put ideas into our consciousness that all of a sudden we find something more acceptable that maybe we didn't before. All of a sudden, things come to the forefront, and if they do translate, and basically at the end of the day, when I mean translate, they communicate with a large part of the masses, and it makes sense, and all of a sudden people talk about it. It just usually taps into something that either we didn't know that now we learned, or something we forgot. So I definitely think there's a dance there between art and life. Now, where that line meets and where it doesn't meet is blurrier today probably than ever before. But definitely it can happen, sure. It does happen.
Yeah, it's a good thing. And my question for
last
Jared.
question then for Jared.
At the end of all this, what do you believe, what do you want to look back and say, that was my greatest achievement?
Well, I hope to never look back. Yeah. Sure, thank you.
Did you bring your mum?
Just the three of us. No, I hope to never look back. I don't really care so much about that sort of thing, legacy or what do I want to leave behind. I don't really think of that. It's good to be here now and to live dreams now and to share the dreams with all of you.
I can't say how I love the film any more than I already have. It's incredible. It's a brilliant piece of filmmaking. It's a great story, fantastic performances, and I really wish you continued success with the awards season. Thank you guys for coming and for your questions tonight. 7th of February for those guys
Bye,
who haven't seen it
Ivy.
yet. Bye, Ivy.
Go see
Thank
the movie.
you.